Archangel Michael says by June 6th, everything will change. Are you ready? Don't skip this. Open now. The moment is sealed. By June 6th, heaven shifts timelines. Hear me clearly, beloved. The hour is marked, the scrolls are open, and the divine timestamp is set. June 6th is not just a date. It is a spiritual threshold. It is the closing of one realm and the awakening of another. Archangel Michael, the defender of the righteous, has sounded a selective alert across the heavens, and only those with ears to hear will recognize its gravity. This message is not for the casual or the comfortable. It is not for the distracted or the doubting. No, this word is reserved for those who have felt the tremors in their spirit, who have discerned that the air has changed, that the winds have shifted, that something invisible is rising. A spiritual pivot is approaching. This is not fear. This is for warning. Heaven does not shout without purpose, and Michael does not descend without assignment. There is a divine alignment being activated, and those who are awake will be caught in its lift. But those who sleep, spiritually slumbering, procrastinating, ignoring the whisper of the Holy Spirit, they will miss the narrow gate that opens for only a moment. If you felt restless, if your sleep hath been disrupted, if people have been pulling away from you, if plans have been delayed or doors mysteriously closed, it is not chaos, it is calibration. Heaven is scanning, discerning, sorting. And yes, you are being watched, not by man but by the divine. Your heart, your obedience, your silence, your reactions, they are being weighed like gold on the scales of righteousness. This is not paranoia, child. This is purification. Stillness is no longer a gentle suggestion. It is a divine command. Be still and know, not guess, not doubt. Know that I am is at work. For in stillness, you reveal your trust. In obedience, you unlock your next level. Heaven is not waiting for your effort. It is waiting for your surrender. The timeline is shifting, and your response will determine your place in the coming wave. This is not just a date. This is a decree. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Archangel Michael has spoken. The moment is holy and urgent. Hear this not just with your ears, but with your spirit. The voice of the warrior Archangel echoes across the realms. Archangel Michael is not whispering now. He is standing with his sword drawn, clothed in light, declaring over you, the next 96 hours will shift the very soil under your feet. This is not poetry. This is prophecy. Heaven is moving, and it is moving quickly. What you are sensing is real. The tightness in your chest, the strange timing of events, the unexpected delays, the deep need to pull away from crowds and noise, all of it is evidence. Evidence that something greater is unfolding in the invisible, and you, yes you, are a part of it. For those who have eyes to see and hearts tuned to the Spirit, the signs have been everywhere. Dreams interrupted. People fading without closure. Phone calls missed on purpose. Plans sabotaged quietly. These are not coincidences. These are divine alarms. Archangel Michael declares this. The earth is groaning. Heaven is aligning. And your soul is being summoned to attention. This message is for the chosen. Not the perfect. Not the most visible. Not even the loudest. This is for the surrendered. The ones who weep in secret and war in silence. The ones who have said, God, I don't understand, but I'm still here. You've been targeted by trials because you are targeted by heaven. You've been interrupted because your elevation could not come through your comfort. There is nothing random about your recent resistance. The warfare was timed. The silence was planned. And the delay was sacred. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not being left behind. You are being lifted apart. This is the hour where heaven divides the faithful from the fearful, the holy from the half-hearted. June 6th is not just a shift in the calendar. It is a shift in the kingdom timeline. Between now and then, you will be pressed, tested, and watched. Not to destroy you, but to define you. Michael says, your name is being called. Your role is being revealed. The heavens are in recruitment. The army of the Lord is being reordered. You may have been hidden, overlooked, even dismissed. But that ends now. Your name has been highlighted in the spirit realm. Your instructions are coming, but only if you stay sensitive. This next season is not for the loud. It is for the locked in. Those who are obedient, available, and still. You've been stretched. You've been misunderstood. You've even questioned if you're losing your mind. But Archangel Michael says, no, you are awakening. And those around you who remain asleep will not recognize your new assignment. They cannot see what heaven is doing because they were not called to it. That's why your circle is changing. That's why your appetite is different. That's why you feel the urge to fast, to pray, to shut the door and cry out. It is your spirit's way of saying, something sacred is near. This is your 96-hour window. Do not waste it with emotional reactions. Do not waste it defending yourself to those who never saw you. Do not waste it in confusion. Now is the time to bow low in prayer, rise up in power, and lean into the mystery. Heaven is about to answer questions you didn't even know how to ask. But you must be still. You must be ready. Your obedience is a weapon. Your stillness is a signal. And your discernment is your survival. You are being summoned, not by men, but by the Most High. You are being activated, not through title or applause, but through alignment. What is happening over these next few days is divine acceleration and separation. Those who were with you in the last chapter may not be present for the next, and that's not cruelty, that's cleansing. Archangel Michael declares this over you. The sword is in the ground. The line has been drawn. The season has been sealed. Now it is your turn to respond. You were not called to fear this shift. You were born to ride it. When others crumble, you will stand. When others question, you will discern. When others flee, you will lead. For the mantle over you is heavy, but it is holy. Your time is not coming. Your time is here. And now, say it aloud if your spirit bears witness. I will not miss my moment. I am a wave. I am ready. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Someone has been observing your every move. In silence. There has been a quiet watching, a shadow of presence that lingers just beyond the edge of your awareness. You feel it in your gut. You sense it in the way conversations change when you enter a room. You've noticed it in the awkward silence that follows your name, in the glances that don't meet your eyes, in the energy that doesn't lie. This is not paranoia. This is prophetic discernment. Someone hath been watching you not with admiration but with assignment. But hear this, what they've plotted in silence, God is about to expose in power. Archangel Michael speaks. You were not crazy for sensing the shift. You were not dramatic for feeling the cold. What you felt had been spiritual intelligence. Heaven gave you the gift of divine discomfort so that you would not settle into deception. The betrayal you feel brewing, It's not just emotional. It's strategic. It's heaven giving you a heads up before the sword strikes. Those passive-aggressive words, the change in tone, the sudden distance, these are signs. And they are signals. Conversations have been held behind closed doors. Your name has been carried into places you've never stepped, and motives have been questioned by people who once cheered for you. But child, this is not to break you. This is to build you. The emotional disruption is heaven's way of unrooting toxic alignments before your elevation arrives. For what you carry cannot be surrounded by what is counterfeit. Archangel Michael reveals, they smiled, but they knew what they had done. There are people who have mishandled you while pretending to honor you. But God saw it. Every false word, every undermining spirit, every back-ended compliment. It was noted. And now, the veil is lifting. You are not imagining the shift. You are discerning the exposure. The enemy is a master of confusion. He doesn't always strike with thunder. Sometimes he whispers through familiar faces. That's why you've been feeling pressure, heaviness, unexplained sorrow. It's not weakness, it's warfare. There's been a campaign to derail you emotionally before you cross into your divine appointment. Because if the enemy can distract your emotions, he can delay your obedience. Michael warns, do not be lured into reactions. Do not justify. Do not retaliate. The silence you've been keeping, it's a weapon. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to explain. You need to discern and obey. This is not the time for confrontation. It is the time for consecration. Yes, they tried to provoke you. Yes, they twisted your truth. Yes, they withdrew love so you would question your worth. But heaven's eyes are sharper than human motives. You were not forsaken. You were being filtered. And the filter is not rejection. It is redirection. In the most unexpected way, heaven is about to uncover what hath been kept in the shadows. Dreams will reveal secrets. A slip of the tongue will confirm what your spirit already knew. Accidental messages, sudden admissions, awkward interactions. These are heaven's breadcrumbs, leading you out of deception and into discernment. And through it all, you are not to fear. Archangel Michael surrounds you with the hosts of heaven. While people speak, angels are moving. While they plot, heaven protects. Your emotional disruption is not a sign of breakdown. It is the evidence that your destiny is too powerful to remain entangled with deception. So lift your head, breathe deeply, and prepare. What was hidden is being uncovered. What was silenced is being declared. And what was meant for harm will now be used for glory. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more prophetic insight, divine timing messages, and spiritual alignment strategies. Your spiritual growth matters, and we're here to walk with you through every season. Type I am protected in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 717 is now activated. This is not punishment. This is preparation for promotion. Hear this truth and let it settle deep in your bones. You are not under attack because you're failing. You're under pressure because you're rising. The chaos, the miscommunication, the feeling of being stuck, it is not a curse. It is not delay. It is divine design. Archangel Michael has been clear. You are being sifted to be lifted. There is a sacred sorting taking place. You are being separated not from love, but from limits. You are being cut off not because you are unworthy, but because you are being consecrated. This is a spiritual elevation, and with it comes necessary friction. The fire you are in is not sent to destroy you. It is sent to reveal you. A delay. It wasn't denial. It was divine disguise. God cloaked your next step because premature exposure would have invited premature attack. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were actually being hidden in holiness. Archangel Michael says, what looked like silence was actually sacred shielding. There is a war taking place, but make no mistake, this war is not personal. It is spiritual. The people involved may carry faces and voices you recognize, but they are not the true enemy. The true battle is being fought in the unseen, and your most powerful weapon is not your voice, it is your obedience. When you remain silent, you were not being passive, you were being protected. When you walked away, it wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. The kingdom is watching not how you react in battle, but how you obey in warfare. Because it is not just your words that testify, it is your restraint. This season has been painful, yes, but it's also been prophetic. Every attack held a message. Every closed door was a coded communication from heaven. And while others see confusion, the Spirit sees calculation. God has not been late. He's been exact. Down to the second. Down to the soul. You are not losing. You are being positioned to reign. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. That's why certain doors wouldn't open. That's why familiar places began to feel foreign. You weren't being punished. You were being pulled into your purpose. This conflict, this heaviness, this strange tension, it's divine stretching. It is enlarging your spirit, expanding your discernment, and awakening your voice. Not the voice that pleases crowds, but the voice that calls heaven to attention. So take heart. Don't mislabel this moment. You are not being crushed. You are being crowned. You are not behind. You are being aligned. Everything that felt like a detour was actually destiny in disguise. Archangel Michael stands by your side, sword drawn, host ready. You are not walking into this next season alone. Your obedience has become your offering. Your patience has become your praise. And your silence, your silence has summoned divine justice. Let the conflict do its work. Let it carve out the deeper calling within you. For on the other side of this pain is power. On the other side of this confusion is clarity. And on the other side of this warfare is witness. You will testify not just of survival, but of supernatural elevation. Type I am rising in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 888 is now releasing miracles over your life. Between now and June 6th, the spiritual temperature rises. The countdown has begun. The hourglass is turned, and the realm of the spirit is intensifying. Something is brewing beneath the surface. And no, it is not your imagination. It is the escalation before the separation. Between now and June 6th, what has been hidden will rise, and what has been tolerated will demand a response, not from you, but from heaven. Archangel Michael says, brace yourself, but do not fear. This is not a time for confrontation. This is a time for clarity. Do not engage. Do not chase. Do not try to explain. You are not in a battle of personalities. You are in a divine war of positioning. And the moment you step into carnal retaliation, you delay what heaven was about to expose on your behalf. Someone is preparing a confrontation. Yes, emotionally or spiritually, the pressure is being stirred behind the scenes. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Your name is being whispered in rooms your feet have not entered. The enemy is testing your emotional armor, attempting to bait you into a misstep. But listen to the Archangel's warning. Do not confront, withdraw and watch. This is not the hour to speak out. This is the hour to sit down and let heaven rise on your behalf. Your response in this moment determines whether the next door opens or stays sealed. The enemy is clever, not in power, but in strategy. If he can get you to speak prematurely, he can abort what was meant to be born in silence. You are not being silenced by oppression. You are being silenced by design. Within the next 72 hours, a window will open, a moment of exposure. Pay attention. A prophetic flash will occur. Someone will reveal themselves accidentally. A conversation you weren't meant to hear will reach your ears. A private message, a sudden confession, an unguarded moment. This is the divine trap set by heaven to catch the adversary in their own net. But if you speak too soon, you'll break the mechanism of justice already in motion. Repeated numbers will multiply. The signs will intensify. Broken connections will feel permanent. This is not punishment. This is prophetic positioning. When the numbers show up, 111, 222, 444, 555, they are not just cute moments. They are messages, angelic pings, codes from the higher realm. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Heaven is speaking in a language only the Spirit-led will recognize. The pressure you're feeling, that emotional tension, a lingering heaviness when you're around certain people or in certain places. That is heaven signaling. Elevation is near. Prepare for separation. You've been growing, but not everyone around you has. And as the spiritual temperature rises, you will find that the atmosphere that once welcomed you will start resisting you. Don't force yourself into rooms where God is no longer sending you. Don't try to resuscitate connections that heaven is allowing to die. If you move backwards, you forfeit the gate being prepared for you up ahead. This window is small. The margin is tight. The hour is holy. Between now and June 6th, what you don't say will bless you more than what you could ever explain. Heaven's justice has a strategy, and that strategy includes your restraint. Type "I will wait on God" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 4411 is covering your decision-making now. Be still. When you speak, angels wait. When you pray, they war. Stillness is your sword in this hour. Your calm is not weakness, it is warfare. Heaven moves not when you fight in the flesh, but when you submit in the spirit. Archangel Michael says, "Retreat into silence. Let the noise rage without you. Be unreachable to chaos." You've been tempted to explain yourself, to defend your name, to answer every accusation, every slight, every misrepresentation. But Michael's instruction is clear. No explaining, no defending, only obeying. You are not called to fix people's perceptions. You are called to align with God's plan. And right now, that plan requires separation from distractions, both loud and subtle. Pull back. Not because you're defeated, but because you're being positioned for a divine surprise. God hides his chosen before their unveiling. And if you remain visible to the wrong crowd, you'll miss the private encounter that sets the stage for your public shift. Armor yourself, not in retaliation, but in revelation. Use this moment to cloak yourself in spiritual authority. Fast if the Spirit leads you. Journal your instructions. Pray like someone who knows angels are listening. Because they are. When you speak, they wait. but when you pray, they war. So, let your prayers be sharpened. Let your requests be specific. Call down heaven, but don't beg. Decree. Declare. Command the alignment of your destiny. Say it out loud. Cover me in truth. Keep me in peace. Shield me in light. Your calm will confuse your enemies. Your unbothered posture will provoke questions in their camp. They will wonder why you're not reacting. They will wonder what you know that they don't. And here's the truth. You do know something they don't, that heaven fights better than flesh ever could. Archangel Michael assures you, the storm around you is not your concern. The strength within you is. Be unshaken. Be unmoved. Be unavailable to chaos. Now is the time to anoint your space, physically and spiritually. Saturate your atmosphere with worship. Declutter your environment. Eliminate distractions. Heaven is trying to speak, but it won't compete with noise. The next instruction you receive will not come through a loud boom. It will arrive in a whisper, in a moment of stillness, in a line from a scripture, in a dream, in the subtle move of the Holy Spirit. That's why you must be still. Still enough to hear. Still enough to discern. Still enough to receive. And remember this, stillness is not idleness. It is intentional preparation. You are not waiting in weakness. You are waiting in alignment. While others are busy making noise, you are being sharpened. While they campaign for attention, you are cultivating anointing. And when heaven opens the next door, it will be you who walks through, because you did not waste your wilderness. Your stillness is speaking louder in the spirit than any explanation, but in the natural. Heaven has not forgotten you. Archangel Michael stands with you, shielding what's yours, guarding your next, and silencing the voices that never carried heaven's echo. Be still. The war is already won. Now let heaven show you how. Type I am covered in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3344 is now activating divine protection around you. You are not the same person who tolerated confusion and crumbs. You have changed, whether they see it or not, whether they acknowledge it or not, whether they understand it or not. You are not who you once were. The version of you that apologized for being too sensitive, too deep, too different, that version has died. Heaven did not waste your pain. The fire you walked through did not just burn away the dross. It reforged your identity. Archangel Michael declares over you now, the version of you that emerged from the fire is anointed, unshakable, and ready. You've been tested, and not lightly. You've passed through trials designed to break others. Yet here you stand, not broken but built, not bitter but better, not lost but led. Your scars are no longer signs of trauma. They are the blueprints of divine transformation. You've outgrown your past, and that's why it's been resisting you so violently. Familiar places have felt strange. Familiar people have turned cold. Even the desires you once had seem foreign now. This is not confusion. This is spiritual maturity. You have evolved beyond the patterns that once imprisoned you. And yes, they underestimated you. They laughed because you were quiet. They dismissed you because you withdrew. They called it weakness when you chose peace. But Archangel Michael says, they did not see the oil that was forming inside of you. While they were judging the outer, heaven was sealing the inner. You carry something now that you didn't carry before. Authority born from agony, wisdom born from weeping, and fire born from faithfulness. You are fire-tested, purpose-sealed, and warrior-trained. Every loss reshaped your perception. Every rejection increased your discernment. Every moment of isolation became a training ground for your ascension. You are no longer who they remember, and that's why they won't recognize your next. You've moved from identity to inheritance, from survival to strategy, from being found to being sent. The spiritual version of you now carries weight in the heavens. Angels are assigned to your movement. Demons are disturbed by your presence. You don't just walk, you shift atmospheres. And the enemy knows it. That's why the warfare increased. That's why the distractions became relentless. That's why the people closest to you suddenly felt distant. The enemy does not waste energy on the irrelevant. If you've been under attack, it's because you're under assignment. Michael says, this is your final press before the public release. What's been pressing you lately, the tightness, the emotional heat, the spiritual pressure, it's not random. You're at the final stage of divine fermentation. The oil is ready. The wine is almost poured. But first, the final press. Do not despise it. Lean into it. Let it shape the final edges of your identity. You are about to soar. And your wings, they were not gifted to you. They were born from your wounds. Every broken place now holds divine lift. Every scar carries wind. Every ounce of your past is now a launching pad for your prophetic future. The shift is not coming. The shift is here. Type "I am made for this" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is unlocking divine empowerment over your life. This was never about pain. It was about positioning. The tears you cried were not in vain. The nights you stayed up questioning everything, they were not wasted. You were not being tortured by delay. You were being trained for destiny. Archangel Michael speaks now with divine clarity. Heaven knew your name before you ever entered the storm. The betrayal, the delay, the confusion. None of it was random. All of it was prophecy in motion. June 6th is more than a date. It is a divine threshold, a spiritual unlocking, a celestial appointment pre-written into your journey. What looked like delay was disguise. What felt like heartbreak was heaven's recalibration. You were never out of God's plan. You were in the deepest part of it. The blueprint of heaven often feels like brokenness until the door finally opens. And beloved, that door is now within reach. The pain you walked through did not define you. It aligned you. The confusion you endured was not a curse. It was a cloud God used to hide you until the right moment. You were not buried. You were planted. And now, the roots have taken hold. And now, the fruit is about to break forth. You were forged in a furnace not for suffering, but for significance. And here it comes. The revelation you need right now. What you cried for is now standing at the door. The door is not approaching. It is already present. But heaven is watching to see if you recognize it. Will you speak life, or will you retreat in fear? Will you align with the blessing or sabotage it through doubt? This is not just about hope. It's about readiness. Blessings will not always arrive in comfortable packaging. In fact, in this season, your blessings will come disguised, wrapped in discomfort, hidden in unfamiliar forms. You will want to reject what you've prayed for because it doesn't look like the promise. But your discernment must rise above your preference. Archangel Michael reminds you, heaven doesn't package breakthrough the way earth expects it. The connections that are ending. Blessing. The emotions that feel stretched. Blessing. The divine interruptions in your schedule. Blessing. The people subtly reappearing or disappearing. Blessing. All of it is heaven, not hiding from you, but arranging for you. Your angels were not silent. They were organizing. While you cried, they were calculating. While you questioned, they were preparing. You are not forgotten. You are in transition. And transitions often feel like chaos, not because God is confused, but because He is clearing space. You are moments away from seeing the fulfillment. But how you carry yourself in these final hours will determine how quickly it unfolds. Do not shrink. Do not second guess. Do not seek validation from people who cannot recognize your elevation. Instead, declare, I was made for this shift. I align with the divine. What you couldn't make sense of will soon make you weep with clarity. The doors that slammed in your face will now become doors that open for your feet. And the very season that almost broke you will now be your testimony of divine reversal. If this word blesses your spirit, and you'd like to sow into this revelation, consider sending a super chat or super sticker. Even $10 helps us keep pouring out messages like this every week. We are truly grateful. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the coming prophetic words, spiritual insight, and heavenly guidance crafted just for this season of divine shift. Type I am walking into IT in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is now releasing breakthrough doors over you. Say it now. I align with heaven. I accept the call. Heaven is not waiting for a perfect version of you. Heaven is waiting for a present version of you. A version that rises even while trembling. A version that obeys even while uncertain. A version that declares, I will not miss this moment. I say why yes to my divine assignment. Because, beloved, whether you realize it or not, this is your destiny activation hour. The heavens are holding their breath for your response. This moment is not about goosebumps. It's about go time. The time for sitting in spiritual limbo is over. The door is open. The veil is lifted. The assignment is unfolding. And now, the ball is in your court. This is not a season for passive belief. This is a season for bold action. Faith is not just a feeling. Faith is a decision. And you must decide now. Will you step forward, or will you stall? Declare it boldly. I am not confused. I am chosen. This declaration alone breaks spiritual fog. It silences doubt. It cancels delay. Your identity is your access, and your confession is your key. You are not hoping to be picked. You've already been marked. You are not guessing at your calling. Heaven already sealed it before you were formed in the womb. Every moment of frustration, every cycle that repeated, every room that felt too small, it was all pushing you to this one realization. I was never meant to fit. I was meant to lead. I was never meant to blend. I was meant to build. You were not created for confusion, you were created for communion. Archangel Michael speaks now with piercing clarity. The ones who step forward in obedience will be aligned with acceleration. Those who delay will remain in divine holding patterns. The choice is no longer in God's hands. It is in yours. You must align your words, your thoughts, your habits, and your decisions with the assignment heaven has placed over your life. This means stepping away from distractions. This means deleting what's draining you. This means sowing your time, your mind, and your spirit into what God is doing now. Not later. Not someday. Now. And yes, it will cost you. But disobedience will cost you more. Stagnancy is no longer an option. Spiritual neutrality will cost you momentum. If you wait for validation, you miss visitation. If you wait for applause, you'll miss the angelic activation already happening in the unseen. This is your divine yes moment. Your spirit already knows it. That burning in your chest, that lump in your throat, that tug in your gut, that's heaven calling your name. And God is not calling you to safety. He's calling you to significance. Step into purpose, not fear. Step into boldness, not hesitation. Step into destiny, not doubt. You are not late. Let me say it again. You are not late. The divine timeline has not overlooked you. What looked like delay was actually divine development. The roads you thought were detours were actually fast tracks to depth. God had not forgotten you. He has been preparing the world for your arrival. Now speak this out loud, as if the heavens are recording it, because they are. I activate my destiny. I accept the call. I align with divine timing. The angels surrounding you will respond to this command. Doors will open. Paths will clear. Clarity will rise like the morning sun. The fog will lift and favor will find you. Because when heaven hears a yes that comes from alignment, it answers immediately. Don't let this pass you by. This is not hype. This is holy instruction. June 6th is not just a date. It's a deadline. And you are not being pushed by pressure. You are being pulled by prophecy. Type I align with destiny in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2020 is now releasing clarity and forward motion over your life. Here is a transaction taking place in the realm unseen. While you sleep, while you wait, while you wonder, something sacred is occurring above your comprehension. There is a divine trade happening. Heaven is shifting things on your behalf. The pain you thought was pointless is being exchanged for power. The silence you endured is being swapped for supernatural strategy. The suffering you survived is being translated into strength. Archangel Michael reveals, the realm you cannot see is more active than the world around you. While you were waited, heaven was working. While you were breaking, heaven was building. While you were forgotten by man, you were being marked by angels. There is a transaction taking place, and you are the recipient. Your name has been whispered in sacred places. You have been mentioned in meetings of the divine. You are not invisible. You are interwoven into the heavenly assignment of this hour. And the spirit realm has been stirring because you are finally ready to walk in what was always yours. The restlessness you've been feeling, the tightness in your soul, the inability to settle or feel satisfied, no matter what you do, that is your spirit detecting the shift. Your soul senses the incoming delivery before your mind understands it. Because your spirit walks ahead of your logic. It knows when something is about to break open. It knows when heaven is rearranging. You've already been promoted in the spirit. Now, the earth must catch up. This is why your physical reality has felt like warfare. Because your spirit is operating from the future while your surroundings are still adjusting. The people around you see the same version, but the spirit realm sees the upgraded one. That's why attacks have intensified. You are becoming visible in places you haven't physically entered yet. Your influence is echoing beyond your current space. Heaven has already elevated your file. And yes, the enemy saw the promotion. That's why the war increased. But hear this. You are not being crushed. You are being transferred. But looked like loss with actually a spiritual exchange. For every betrayal, heaven is depositing loyalty. For every attack, heaven is depositing strategy. For every delay, heaven is depositing double. You've been operating under silent favor. People couldn't explain why they felt drawn to you. Opportunities opened without you pushing. Paths cleared without you striving. That wasn't luck. That was a heavenly transaction at work. Michael declares, you are stepping into what others tried to take. You are walking in what was delayed for decades. You are harvesting what generations prayed for. Do not minimize the moment. Do not doubt the process. Do not dismiss the weight you feel in your chest. It is the weight of glory. This exchange in the spirit realm is not emotional. It is eternal. It is a seal, a divine deal, a heavenly covenant being made manifest. Walk like it, dog like it, pray like it, move like one who knows that the war was never about where you were, it was always about where you're going. Type I receive the exchange in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 4555 is transferring heavenly downloads into your hands. Everything done in darkness is being reversed in divine light. There comes a time when heaven answers with more than whispers, it answers with vindication. The time, child of God, is now. Justice is no longer a distant promise. Divine reversal is no longer a distant hope. Archangel Michael has stepped forward with a sword drawn, and he declares over you today, the injustice will not stand. The lies will not last. The trap will backfire. This is not karma. This is kingdom compensation. This is the great rebalancing. Heaven has watched long enough. The scales have tilted long enough. You were tested in the fire, surrounded by silence, and carry the weight of false accusations, betrayal, manipulation, and spiritual assault. Yet you stood still. You did not retaliate. You did not expose. You let the Lord be your defender. And now, your restraint is summoning your reward. He who set the trap will fall into it first. Michael's voice thunders this decree across realms. Every pit they dug for you, every lie they whispered, every weapon they fashioned, it is being turned around. Divine reversal is not just poetic, it is prophetic. Your enemies are about to watch you rise in the very place they tried to bury you. There is a heavenly court. There is a scroll. And your name is written on the pages of divine justice. What was stolen, peace, opportunities, reputation, support, will be returned sevenfold. For every year you spent in delay, you will receive an acceleration of recompense. For every night you wept, heaven has scheduled a morning of miracles. You are not a victim of injustice, you are a candidate for divine reversal. The curses they spoke over you are returning, but not as curses. They are being translated by heaven into blessings. What the enemy sent to destroy you is being repackaged by angels into destiny activators. Your enemies thought they were winning because you were quiet. They didn't realize that silence is often the loudest sound in the spirit realm. Michael says, you were not silent because you were weak. You were silent because heaven was speaking louder than you could. And now, heaven will speak on your behalf in a way that no man can silence. Justice is not delayed, it is delivered. You will not have to make announcements. You will not have to explain. God will do it in front of them. Those who mocked you will witness your manifestation. Those who used your vulnerability against you will now watch your victory with trembling. And here's the divine twist. Your heart must remain pure even as justice arrives. Do not gloat. Do not revenge. Remain clean so your hands can receive all that heaven is about to release. This is a royal reversal. This is not about personal revenge. It's about spiritual restoration. So open wide your heart and say with bold faith, God is my vindicator. I will receive divine justice. I trust the reversal. If this word stirred your spirit and you feel called to support this ministry, consider dropping a super thanks or a super chat. Even $5 or $10 helps us keep building and releasing these messages. Your love truly matters. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for prophetic releases, heavenly guidance, and weekly revelation to walk boldly in your calling. You are not alone, we are walking with you. Type "I am vindicated" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 818 is reversing the curse and releasing divine rulings in your favor. Archangel Michael seals you in light, protection, and purpose. This is the end of the message, but the beginning of your moment. The beginning of your next level. The beginning of your heaven-ordained emergence. As June 6th approaches, let every fiber of your being understand this. You are covered. You are chosen. You are charged. What is coming is not destruction. It is deliverance. There is no room for fear now. There is no room for confusion. What stands in front of you is not a threat. It is a threshold. And you have been found ready. The doors are opening. The alignment is active. The warfare is weakening. The instructions have been sent. Now, you must walk with full confidence in who you are and what you carry. Archangel Michael hovers above you with flaming wings of protection. He declares this final word: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You are marked, not her harvest. Let this blessing be spoken over you right now, not as a poetic benediction, but as a spiritual seal that heaven honors. I am chosen. I am protected. I am called higher. Let this be your mantra in the mornings, your comfort in the nights, your armor when doubt creeps in. Say it aloud. Whisper it when you walk into new rooms. Declare it when you're alone. This is the sound of alignment. You do not walk forward alone. You are surrounded by a host. You are backed by angels. You are carried by grace. You are led by fire. There is nothing small about what's coming. There is nothing ordinary about who you are. You are now sealed in a season of divine movement. And by June 6th, the shift will be visible. You will wake up different. You will speak with new way. You will step into rooms that were once locked. You will look at your past and finally understand the why. This moment is not a maybe. It is a mandate. You are not hoping for a shift. You are walking in it. Heaven has spoken. The angelic armies have moved. And your name, yes, your name, is now written in the flow of the next divine timeline. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on schedule. Now go forward in peace. Go forward in purpose. Go forward in power. Let the heavens echo as you type your final seal. Type "I am chosen. I am protected. I am called higher" in the comments. Blessing code 606 is now fully surrounding you. For June 6th is yours.